All right, you probably heard about this. Another mass shooting at a school. 3 dead, including the shooter. 6 injured. I'm told some of those are really, really critical. Bad news, right? And what's going to happen now? What is happening right now? A sick, lame, and lazy conversation about gun control.
If we don't manage gun control, whatever that may look like in this nation, these types of events clearly are not going to stop.
Well, whatever it may look like, it's a violation of the Constitution. You want to have that conversation again? Everybody's sick of it, all right? Even the gun control advocates, I think they know deep down inside, they don't know what they're talking about. Why can't we talk about psychotropic drugs? Notice it never really comes up. We have millions and millions and millions of kids on lithium, all kind, whatever it is. I mean, there are all kinds of drugs, and those drugs have side effects, right? They tell us in the commercials, you know, watch out for this ideation, watch out for that. Some of the side effects are pretty intense, really intense. But we don't, does anybody know that this is actually when it all started? The first school mass shooting. A lot of people consider this the first school mass shooting when Brenda Ann Spencer shot at a middle school right across the street where she lived. She was 16 years old at the time. And that might have been the first modern day school shooting. What was going on in the 80s? The pills, and more pills. This country has always been awash in guns. We're a gun culture. We are pioneers. It's not the guns. It's a lot of other things. The pills, yep. And maybe even this stuff. Yeah, it's hard to believe that that's a video game. Call of Duty. I know people who like this stuff. People I know can handle it, but can, I don't know, 12-year-olds handle this stuff? I don't know. When I was growing up, granted, I mean, this was a real long time ago. When I was like 5, this was considered cutting-edge technology. And to this day, I think it's pretty cool. You can actually find it online. This, asteroids, you know, making rocks, hitting the rocks and making them small. This is a worthy conversation. The drugs, if you want to beat the drum about gun control again, you're missing it, and more people are going to die. I know the big drug companies don't want us talking about that stuff, and neither does big tech, but I think this just might be your solution. All right, what's next?
Our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense.
It's great to have a president who actually trusts you enough and likes you enough and respects you enough to kind of level with you for real. They do know. Now, he's not president yet, and he's constrained. They're giving him classified briefings. But I think this is coming from a place of knowledge. Meanwhile, the administration continues to, you know, it's all in our heads or something like that.
Let me set the record straight here, George. There are thousands of drones flown every day in the United States. Recreational drones, commercial drones. That is the reality. And in September of 2023, the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, changed the rules so that drones could fly at night. And that may be one of the reasons why now people are seeing more drones than they did before, especially from dawn to dusk. And so that is the reality.
I don't get my reality from Alejandro Mayorkas, right? No, he's the one who said the border is secure. He's the one who said white supremacy is the greatest threat to human existence. And he's the one who called those Border Patrol cops on the horses racists. Remember that? All right, this is the Minister of Disinformation. Truly, truly. When it comes to drones, though, I hope we get the answer soon. The military, whatever's going on, we deserve to know. But when I think drones, it makes me think about July 13th, the Secret Service, and that whole mess that happened to Donald Trump. I mean, a multi-billion-dollar agency. You know what happened that day? The whole thing was beaten by 20-year-old Matthew Crooks. This guy beat the entire system. Billions of dollars. I think he had a savings account with $400 in it. That's it. He beat a multi-billion-dollar system. And his drone worked. His drone actually worked. The House of Representatives put out a new report, a task force on the assassination. I've heard a lot of people say, well, there's nothing new there, but there actually, a few things are kind of new, and a few things need to be emphasized all over again, because I'm not sure if we learned it the first time. Crooks was able to fly his drone at that rally, and here he is kind of walking around very casually because, well, he can do that. 11 minutes to conduct surveillance. That's like he did that. Meanwhile, the Secret Service had no drone, and when they tried to set up their counter-drone system, it took them 5 hours to set it up, and it wasn't operational until 4:30, about 20 minutes after Crooks landed his drone. A half hour later, then they were up to look for the drones. The Secret Service blew it, but you know what? Maybe all of us are kind of blowing it. You know, have you felt distracted lately, right? We all do. This is amazing. It's happening to everybody. This is beyond the Secret Service. It's a cultural thing. We all have phones. We all have apps. We all have this stuff incoming all the time, and it's distracting us, and it may be distracting the Secret Service. It has come out in this investigation and others that they're just not on their walkie-talkies. They're on their texting, they're WhatsApping, they're signaling, their phone, they're emailing. They got to go to the email. They're actually going to email because no system really works all that great. And when you rely on text message and you are supposed to be vigilant on your personal cell phone, and some of the local law enforcement, some of the Secret Service relied on their regular cell phone. Who's texting you on your regular cell phone? Mom, your girlfriend, your whatever, your brother, McDonald's. And somewhere in there is Secret Service operations. Yeah, you can easily miss this text message. Be on the lookout for a suspicious person. And from this report, there are people who were texted about the suspicious person, but they don't look at their text messages all the time, right? A lot of people don't. They turn the chime off. They have no standardization. It is a disaster. You can't do your job as a Secret Service man or anybody, whether you're a train conductor, whether you work at the shoe department, if you're looking at your phone and tracking your email, your text, your WhatsApp, your this, your that. It's impossible. No wonder why. No wonder why. And, you know, when they say this stuff, when the feds say this stuff about the locals, they don't mean it. They're going through the motions. It's muscle memory. They say it so much, they say it without thinking. This stuff.
It is our job to be vigilant in the federal government with our state and local partners on behalf of the American public.
State and local law enforcement is so intertwined with today's FBI.
We are working with our partners in state and local law enforcement.
We're working closely with state and local authorities.
I would also like to express my gratitude to our federal, state, and local partners. We rely on these critical relationships, which have developed over decades of daily collaboration.
Sounds great, right? You just, our state and local partners, all the time. This is how closely they collaborate these days. Let's go to the Copenhagen video. Remember this, the video of Crooks running around on the roof? Why wasn't he spotted? I found that astonishing. Well, why didn't he get spotted? Because the feds were convinced the locals were looking at the building, and the locals were convinced the feds were looking at the building. It's just like, how's that for close coordination? And this is also in the task force report. My gosh, I mean, I think this is societal. You know, we have our phone. Instead of doing something and taking the initiative, what do? We text our friends, hey, the boss said this, or hey, I just heard that. Many of us are not taking action. Is that possible? So you got a suspicious guy here, Crooks. He's got a rangefinder. Everybody's on him. Like, what? Who is this guy? What is he doing? Well, for about an hour and a half, cops just talk about him for some reason. And as I brought my binoculars down, I just happened to look down and I was like, there he is. He was sitting directly below me. All right, then what did you do? Next, please. This is from the southwestern corner of that second building. This is the task force staff, right? Yeah, he was just sitting on it. I'm like, well, there he is. So I don't know why. Maybe the opportunity, and because he was so close, I'm like, I got my phone. I just pulled out the picture. Pulled out his phone and took a picture. The first one is the one of his back, the bottom. You see the bottom left? Yeah. That was the first picture I took. All right, now what does he do? And then the second picture is the one, because I took the first one. I'm like, come on, man, turn your head, turn your head. He's thinking this to himself. And then finally he turned, and then I took that second one, which was the side view. And then what do? They texted it to each other. Nobody said, hey, you, kid, what are you doing there? Stop, stay right there. We're coming down to talk to you. Nobody did that. They just texted everybody. Kind of like, I think this is a societal thing. It's beyond the Secret Service. It's beyond law enforcement. We're all kind of doing this. Something is stifling our initiative. We become way too passive. And if you don't believe me, you got to look at this report. It's full of bureaucratic passing the buck, and it's disgusting. More when I come back.
Information. Truth. Is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.